Hello everyone and welcome to Accordion Utopia. My name is Sergey Semenov. I am in my workshop, and in this video I would like to tell you a little bit about Bayan. Bayan is a type of an accordion, or I should say button accordion, that was created in Russia, and it is still popular in Russia, some of East European countries, and also on the West in some countries. Bayan was created about 100 years ago. So there are some, if you do a search online, you can find a different information about who exactly created it and how it appeared, but it's about 100 years old instrument since it was created. So I'm holding one of the bayans that was made not quite 100 years ago, but probably in 1930s or 1940s, just around or before Second World War. And this bayan was made in Russia on Tula factory. Tula is the name of the city in Russia, which is famous for many things, including bayans. So bayan has a right keyboard for the right hand and a left keyboard, just like an accordion. The difference is Bayan has buttons for the right keyboard, although the left keyboard is the same as on the accordions. The spacing could be different, but the arrangement and the buttons are the same. Another difference between Bayan and accordions is the position of this keyboard on the right side. It's not up against the edge of the instrument, it's not up against the chest of the player. It's shifted by approximately 1/3 of the thickness, so you can see. So an accordion it would be here, on Bayan it's right there. And what are the advantages and disadvantages of this shift? So Bayan was developed from harmonica, Russian harmonica, and actually harmonica, the keyboard is much closer to the chest or the edge, and it has only 2 rows, and you can only play in certain keys. Bayan is a chromatic instrument, so you can play in any key, and in old days, in old school, the player would position his thumb behind the keyboard and use only 4 fingers. Maybe in some occasions, if you really need to use it, you would use it like this on the row that is closest to the edge. But most of the time it would stay behind it. Also, shifting it forward makes the hand position or the arm position is more natural. If it's here, this is what you need to hold and how you need to hold it, your arm. But when it's shifted, you can hold it like this, which is more natural. So this is the natural position of the arm. You just raise your hand and you're there. It's better when you play sitting. However, when you stand, if you put your shoulders back, there is some advantages when the keyboard is a little bit closer to the chest. Anyway, so in this video I will show you more than this bayan. This is bayan just to start with. It's for an introduction, and we'll show you how this sounds. But primarily I'd like to talk to you about these 2 instruments that's sitting on my bench, black and white. So I'm gonna play just a little bit some melody so you can hear what the bayan sound like. So it has this type of sound, which is called dry tuning, which means that each note, it has 2 voices in the right hand, but they tuned exactly the same. So there is no, it sounds like one voice. However, the second voice adds harmonics, so the sound is richer, although there is no vibrato or musette, so called and popular in French. in France, in French instruments. And so for the left side, the keyboard, the spacing is a little bit bigger than you would find on a typical piano key, accordion. The piano key on this side, this would be button, but the spacing would be a little bit smaller, and the buttons would be a little bit smaller diameter, so you can, which again gives advantages and disadvantages. If you have big fingers, it's harder to not miss, I mean, to hit it just the right button. But on the other hand, you can use two that are adjacent with one finger, like this. In this case, I'm using E and B with one finger. You just hit in between. Maybe in some music you would like to do that. So the range here is 52 notes, and the range of these two instruments is bigger. It's 61 notes, which is 5 octaves. So I'm going to put this aside, and now we'll talk about these two instruments. These two instruments have not been repaired yet, so I'm going to start with the black one. So I purchased them to repair and to sell to the people who wants to have one of those, wants to learn how to play, or he already person who knows how to play, just want to play for yourself or for performances. So this instrument, the same as the other one, they have a celluloid around the wooden body, so this is all celluloid. There is a metallic aluminum grill. The buttons are plastic, and the keys are wooden on this one instrument, but today they use more metal than wood for the mechanics. So anyway, so let's compare this one. How did this sound compare to the one I just put aside? So it plays nicely, and you can play here. So it has 5 octaves. This is a lowest note, this is a G, and that's the highest note. So let's talk about the condition of this instrument. I fixed a little bit mechanic that was damaged during shipping in the left side, which was easy. But there is a lot of more work to do to make this instrument in excellent condition. For an instrument like this, I wouldn't change celluloid, I mean this covering the celluloid, or make perfect look. I would primarily spend my time on making mechanics work the way it should be without any problems, and tuning. So most important is playability of the instrument and the sound of instrument, not so much the look. However, if somebody wants me to work on, if somebody would be interested in this instrument and he wants perfect look, we can certainly discuss that. So let's go over the problems and good things and bad things about this instrument. So this instrument was not made in Tula factory, it was made in Moscow factory, same as the white one, and probably in 80s, 1970s, maybe 1980s. So some of the problems, let's start with the left side. So the bass, see this one, this note, when I pull it, plays only, you can hear 1 or 2 notes. The way it should sound like this. Now you hear the bass. Don't hear the bass, hear the bass. play. So this sound should be, that's how powerful the sound should be, regardless if I'm pushing or pulling the left side. So, and not only this note, but there are other notes that have the same problem. This one. See? You can see a really deep bass when I squeeze it, but when I push it, it's not as good. So it could be attributed to the setup of the reeds. The reed location. It could also be the problem with the valve, the leather valve behind the reed that closes the hole. It could be something else, or it could be broken reed, which I'm gonna look into. So that's one of the problems. The chords, I already adjusted some, so when you press the button, it plays all the notes at the same time. So it's not like when you press, sometimes what happens is, if it's not tuned well, you start pressing and first you hear one note, then you press more, you hear the next note and the third one. Here, even with a very little push, you see, as soon as I press it in, it played it. But there will be, since I'll be working on this, I'll adjust even better than this for all the keys, for all the left and right side. What else? For the right hand side, the problems here is one problem that's typical. So I'm pressing the only one note. This is a C note. If I press it like almost all the way, it plays just C. If I press more, it also plays C sharp. What happens is, because of the adjustment, this button is going to push the linkage to the C sharp, and it opens the valve for the C sharp, and it plays the other note, which is not good, because if you're playing something, and especially professional musicians, they have strong fingers, that well trained, so they press it all the way down. So that shouldn't sound like this. It should sound only one note, only the notes you pressing. Other problems here, I think. Another one, same problem. This is A. This one doesn't play. It has sound when I squeeze it, but no sound going outward. Same. No, this. And this one. So a couple notes that it could be just a problem of dust sticking between the reed and the reed frame, but I'll take care of that. So an overall cleanup, then problems on the left sound with the left side, the right side. Then I would also clean bellows. The bellows holds pretty tight. It's not bad. So if I hold it like this, you see it's pretty slow. And the bellows they're not like spring. This instrument has been played quite a bit, because bellows, you don't have to fight with bellows. Some instruments, especially the new ones, the bellows are so tight that when you moving your arm, you can feel a lot of resistance from the bellows. This one you are not going to feel resistance. This is very good bellows. There might be some leak, but the leak is minor. You can easily play the instrument. Now if I squeeze, you can hear on both sides, so the tension on the springs is probably similar, left and right side. What else? So that's how it sounds. So I would say the main problem is that some of the reeds on the left side do not respond. See, that shouldn't sound like this. probably noticed when I was pulling there was not much bass, but once I change the direction, you can hear the bass right away. So I'll open the instrument, we'll look inside. It has brass reed plates on both sides, and there is a stamp with the last name of the person who made the tuning or made the reeds and adjusted them. So this is considered to be made by, I mean, the instrument made in the factory, so there probably several people were involved to make an instrument. However, the most important part of the instrument, the voices, were made by a single person, or maybe by a single person plus his apprentice, and then that person, that guy usually they put the names on the reeds that are have really good sound. So it does have a great sound. Now this instrument has brighter right side than this one. This one also needs some repair. I was going to repair the black first. Now, one thing on this instrument that is, you can feel it right away, that the owners, or where they store it, somebody was smoking, and smoking so bad that this instrument just stinks. So there will be cleaning and removing that smell of cigarette smell from the instrument. So there is also minor difference I didn't say, but this wheel to adjust the left tension on the left belt is plastic. On the other one it is made out of brass. But here I have this one plate. You noticed I'm changing the bellows quite often, because this doesn't hold air, and it's not the bellows problems. It's bellows problems of the bellows, but in addition, on the right side the valves are not closing all the way. Some of them, especially the high notes. The bellows are, if you look at here, this is so worn that, I mean, those pieces are going off, so they have to be replaced. Again, this has to be cleaned, replaced. Somebody used tape, I think, in one place on this instrument somewhere. I saw it, just to seal the hole. But it has a whole bunch of holes. This instrument also has brass reed plates, and it also has a name stamped on the reed plates. I guess for this video I'm gonna open only the black one, but it's pretty much the same thing you would see in this one. And if you are interested more in this instrument, just let me know. Well, I can make another video to review it a lot, to show more about this instrument, to show everything inside and tell you everything you want to know about it. And I don't play well, but I know people who do play well, so if you want to hear the instrument, how it would sound in good hands, just let me know. I will ask them to play and record the video. You can see. Also about the buttons here, they are, you might see some of them like broken, like this one. It's here. The way it's made is a plastic cylinder, and there is a connector. I think it's all brass also on the inside. So the plastic cylinder has a hole. The rod is inserted in the hole, and then it's glued there. And on the front side, which you see here, there is another plastic that has better appearance. And those pieces, they were glued, and some of them broke off. So that's why some of them look flash. They're not here. So all these buttons have to be replaced. The buttons on that one don't need to be replaced. So there is less work on this instrument to make it playable and perfectly working mechanics than on this instrument. Comparing the sounds, I think this one has the sound or more like a velvet sound, I want to say. The bass plays the same. So, well, this is out of tune when I squeeze, but that's in terms of the power of the sound, it's the same regardless which way you go. Usually bayans have better, or not better, a richer and more powerful sound on the bass side than accordions. In most of the cases, not always, but it's something that bayans are known for. Another advantage of bayan with respect to accordion is the range on the right keyboard. This is 5 octaves. There is no accordions that have 5 octaves. They have switches, so you can switch and get an octave higher, but you don't have all the 5 octaves at the same time. And arrangement of the buttons allows you to play some music that is would be more complicated more difficult to play on piano key accordions. Okay, so let's look at the inside of the black bayan. By the way, I didn't say, but here there is a logo. It's not name of the maker. It says Moscow. It's in Russian. That's the city where it was made. I think that's the name of the model, although there are some other bayans which are much smaller and they also have that name, so it might be a little confusing, but if you have questions, confusions, just send me an email or give me a call and I can certainly help you with that. Okay, so adjusting the camera so I can see. So how do we open it? There is, you see those, they look like nails, and some of them can be pulled by hand like this. If it's not, where did I go? I'm gonna get my instruments that I like. Where is that? Somewhere. Okay, I'm gonna use this one. So what we do, we pull out those 3 nails from the back side and 3 nails from the front side to remove. This is the right body, right side body, and left side body, and the bellows in between. The other instrument actually has screws here. I can show you so you can see. So instead of pulling it, you would need to unscrew this with a screwdriver. That's essentially the same thing. The screws are typically used on bigger instruments that currently the factory makes, so it's more standard now. But for small instruments they always use nails, even these days. So what you see inside, it's pretty clean. What's here is, this is the bass resonator, and bayans have 4 voices, so that might be another specialty about bayans. So it has a counter octave bass here, then 1 octave above, which is I think this is sub counter octave, this is counter octave, and then 2 more, one on this side, one on that side. So when you press the bass note, the button to play 1 bass note, it plays 4 voices octave apart, I think an octave apart. And this resonator for chords. Each chord consists of 3 or 4 notes played together, and each note represented by 2 voices. So a couple of things about terminology. So this is called leather valve, this guy. So what they do, they close this side when this reed plays, and only plays when air enters. So it goes through, first it bends the reed, passes through the window, and exits here through that opening. But when you move your bellows the other way, this reed is not going to play. All it's going to do, it would bend out and stay that way, and you would lose a lot of air. To prevent it, there is a valve like this on the inner side, so which it will close this window so there is no air passing through this around this reed. And then this would also open, and then there is a reed inside, which you can see now, which will play when the air enters this hole, passes through around the reed and plays sound. Okay, so here I have a lens. Let me try to show first without the lens. Here is the name of the maker, and I think it's present on every single, maybe not every single, but almost all the reed plates. So if you, let me try to see here, what it says is, it says Petrusyov AA. This is the last name with 2 initials. And then there is also number 1402, I think, this one. Okay. So if you blow air, that reed plays. If you suck in air, that's a different reed plays now. And each hole, so when you valve opens, when you push the button, valve opens this opening, and it opens 2 holes at the same time, like this one and that one. So this 2 would play the same note. Okay. So everything is clean inside. If it's clean and in this condition, I usually don't do anything. And if you guys thinking about repair, don't touch what's good. If something is working, doesn't fail, and looks nice, don't change it. Here is an example where else you can see. It's right here. His name, that logo on this side. You might not be able to see. Okay. And also on the right side. So everything is good here. Just need a little bit of cleaning, but it's actually not dirty. It's pretty clean. And everything is tight. Nothing is shaking. Nothing is broken. So I wouldn't do much here. The bellows, like I said, they hold air pretty good. So I wouldn't do much with them either. And they don't look perfect, and especially if you look at the corners, this is kind of not rusted, but it's about to start rusting. They're not shiny as they used to be, but in order to fix this, it's a lot of work, and people usually would say, I don't want to pay too much extra for this just to make this shiny. So if you're looking for an instrument and the look of the instrument is very important to you, you're going to probably consider a brand new instrument. However, if the look of the instrument is not as critical, you might consider a used instrument like this one, and it will give you great sound, excellent mechanics, so it will work just as a new one. Actually, in certain regards it will be better, but it won't look as nice. So it's up to you to decide what do you want to buy. About choosing the instrument, just as I go through, I'll make you a suggestion or advice. How do you choose instruments? So for me, the most important thing for any instrument, not just accordions, is response. So when you try to play it, you make some actions. So in case of accordion, you press the button, you pull the bellow. If accordion will respond exactly how you do it, in other words, you barely start moving, and there is very little sound. You move a little bit faster or push a little bit more, and the sound responds to your actions proportionally. Proportionality is probably a good description. That's very good. That's the most important parameter of the instrument. And other things would be, so it's comfortable to play, you're not get tired too quickly, you like the weight distribution, things like that. You don't get your fingers damaged. I mean, nothing bad goes to your fingers after you play for a long time. Like on old instruments, the first one I showed you, the corners are not rounded like this one. So this is where you put the left hand. These corners are like a square corner, almost a square. It's not 90 degrees, but it's pretty close. And this edge, if you play a long time and you're pushing on it, you might get some uncomfortable feel on your in your hand, which is not as good as when you don't have it, right? So for this instrument, all the corners are rounded on the left and right side, so you're not going to have that problem. Anyway, let's keep looking at this. So there are 3 resonators. Each row of buttons works with 1 resonator. So here is one of those. Again, this has a number. I don't see the name here. And actually the number here is different. I think the other one was 1024. Was it 1402? 1402. This one shows 1142. So this could be made by somebody else. And I think it was fixed at some point. You see this foam? This is what constructors use. So it was probably somebody repaired. This piece probably came off from that piece, and somebody just put it to repair. I didn't do that work. I wouldn't use the foam here. I don't recommend you, but if there is nothing better than this, you can use it. Okay, there is also, for this guy, I want to show you, and let's see. That's the same, 1142. So there is no name, but there is a number, which is not the same number as. Maybe this came from another instrument. I don't know. Can't say for sure. Here, there is on the body it says 1402. Usually that's like a serial number for the instrument. So you would see it on many parts, many components. So what I wanted to show you is this. First of all, the thing that's common about old bayans is single plate reeds. There are different names of it, but basically what they means is all this this is a reed plate, and it has reeds. It's one plate with a multiple reeds. For usually Italian accordions would have single. Here is from Italian. This is what Italian accordion reed block would look like. So you see there is multiple pieces here. Reed plates are individual for each note. It has, and the way they attached is different. This is wax, a beeswax. This one, the way bayans put together, the plates installed, they don't use beeswax. They just use, there is a leather layer here between the reed plate and the wood, but there are also hooks which you turn, and then there is a couple of screws, and you can take it off and put it back on without gluing it. There is no need to unglue it like with the wax where you have to melt it. Again, each way has the advantages and disadvantages, which I'm not gonna talk here, but you can read about it online. So here, what it should be here is for each 4 of this, 1, 2, 3, 4 individual plates should be 1 piece. And you can also notice that this 3 looking this way and this guy looks the other way. So somebody reversed. Plus, I suspect that those reeds came from probably Italian accordion. What makes me think so is the way the rivet looks. Let's try to do this so you can see. Now you can see the rivet head. You see, it looks like a point in the center. And if you look at all these reeds, sorry, not the reeds, but the rivets, you don't see that point. So this is a little, it's a different rivet, and when it's installed, it's a little bit different procedure to install it. So this is typical for Italians. Let me see not on this one, but I've seen on some where they have this. So I'm not 100% sure, but I suspect that those reeds are taken from Italian instrument. The other thing that makes me think so is the width of the reeds. They are pretty narrow for bayans. If you look at the bayan with I mean the full bayan, this will be wider. Okay. So what else? So here what I would do, I would make sure that they all play one way or the other. Maybe I will put add the reeds here. If they sometimes if the response is so good that you don't feel a difference going from one note to the next one, you probably don't even need this. You don't have to. You can add the second reed, but in some cases it's okay to not to have it. I mean, I'm not advertising to do this. I'm just saying that if you take an instrument and it has this situation, just by listening, if you even if you try to listen carefully, you might not be able to tell if there is two reeds playing or one reed playing. Okay, that's what I wanted to say. So in this case, you don't have to repair it, or you don't have to install another one if one plays great. Okay, so we saw that some notes don't play. Now they were playing okay when I squeeze it, and they were not okay playing when I pull it. So pulling, it's the internal reeds that you can't see from here. Okay, here's one problem. This reed got stuck. It's not moving. So that, and this one got stuck. This is okay. So some reeds for the bass, the problem why they can't play is they got stuck. So what happens is the gap between the reed and the window that it moves in is very small. So if reed moves a little bit, it can touch the edge and just get stuck. So this is not bad to fix. It's the reeds are here. It's just they need to be cleaned, adjusted, and tuned probably. Most likely they will need to be tuned. Okay, so let's flip it over and look at the left mechanic. I don't want to make this video too long, but at the same time I want to say a lot of things about this instrument as well as bayans. So I have a dilemma how much I should spend on each part or on each stage. So how do you open the left side? You can see I'm unscrewing 4 legs, and those I will replace those with a nicer black legs, softer one, so you can put it on floor and not scratch it. So then you open this piece, the plate that covers. Again, this is plywood, and here is celluloid. It's covered with celluloid, and I think there is a plastic on the inside, which is nice. I like when they do that because it stays straight over a long time. If celluloid on one side and no plastic on the inside, that's how it's made on the white bayan. Then it's over time it gets curved, and then what I do, I make usually cuts are needed on this side, so you bend it this way because it tends to move bow like this way, and when you make several cuts you can flatten it. Okay. Mechanics. Oops, put it upside down. So what you see here, I'm not going to take the belt off, but when you push the button there is linkage inside, and all the linkage here is made out of brass, so it is heavier than aluminum or even steel. However, brass has lower coefficient of friction, and also it wears less. So over time it would stay, it is still moving nice and works real nice. Another typical problem for those instruments, this link, guys, they moved in the slots this way, and over time, and they moved in the slots that made in the wood. So over time, that wood wears out, and the linkage is not just moving in the slot; it also moves perpendicular, and that's not good. That's has to be. It's better to fix that, but I don't see problems here, so that's good, because we don't have to add more parts here. So here, just cleaning and adjustment. That's all. I can also install Teflon sleeves on, usually what they do on the modern instruments, on those pins that will be pushing the vertical wires. You can put Teflon sleeves, and that helps, reduces friction and makes it not as noisy when you play, especially when you play fast. You do this and you can hear that tapping sound. I don't think this instrument needs it. I don't think I'll want to put on this one. Just cleaning and adjustment here. That's it. Okay. So that's all on this side. I bought this instrument as well as the other one without cases. However, I do have some cases that I can offer with the instrument when they will be ready. So if you like the instrument, you want to buy it and play or do whatever you want with this, just let me know and tell me. I mean, if I'm not gonna restore it by that time, then you can tell me what exactly you're looking for, what type of restoration, and certainly we can. I can do it that way. Those are not the only instruments I have. I have a lot more instruments, mostly bayans. I don't have many piano key accordions. But if you are interested in the piano key accordion, and I have a friend who has a lot of piano key accordions and he sells them, so I can give you his contact information and you can buy it from him. Okay, so another interesting thing about bayan, you probably noticed where the reed plates on the right side are located. Two are here and one is right there. So one reed block is behind the keyboard, which is advantage. Again, has plus and minus. So the plus is you have more room between the reed blocks, so your reed can move farther away and not touch the adjacent reed block. The drawback is the sound that comes from here is not heard the same by the audience, which is sitting on this, usually in front of the player. Also, if you put microphone here, the sound from this reed block, which is this row, will not be quite exactly recorded as the sound from this two. Usually those two would sound a little bit brighter. The difference would be very, very minor. So don't think that this is gonna make a huge like it's gonna be a problem for you. Just find videos on YouTube of great bayan players from 60s, 50s. They had bayans that had reed blocks on the back side, all three, and they sound great. So what I'm doing now, I'm opening this grill and I'll show you what you see under it. So this is aluminum, perforated aluminum grill, which is pretty heavy actually. And another thing I don't like about this grill is it's not as much open as the grill on the white bayan. So I can replace this. If you want something that would be more open, bright, give you brighter sound, more powerful sound, we can make a new one out of aluminum mesh or steel mesh that is painted. Could be something like this, for example. This is I think it's aluminum. yeah, it's pretty light. It's aluminum. Or there's a lot to choose from if you go online. I can put something very similar to this guy, what this grill looks like. There is local store that sells those types of meshes that are made out of steel, and then we can paint it either black or whatever color. So here are the valves. Again, this 2 rows, this row is here, the connections, then the middle row valves are here, and this row has a different type of linkage, and the valves are on the back side. I'm not gonna open that one, but you can see what the valves are aluminum, and there is a rubber piece. Now over time that rubber dries out, and it has a special profile, as you can see. It is very hard to find exactly this profile. So if I have to replace it, I do something similar but still not exactly the same, and it's going to look different basically. Under grill you can't quite see it, but because I don't have access to these profiles, I cannot change them that easy. Okay, so I think the since compression is good, I wouldn't change it. Unless again you say, no, I want new perfect valves and new everything. Again, that would cost additional money to do that. The buttons, I can replace the ones that are really out of shape, like those with a screw in the middle, and maybe these two. But the other keys, the buttons, are like the black ones are all in good shape. I'd say I wouldn't even change them. The white ones they look a little bit yellowish, and some what do you call it? It's like patina or micro cracking. I don't know if you can see it. This is what it looked like. A typical example. Okay, it doesn't look bad. It actually looks like almost like marble, I would say. It's not marble. It's plastic, but it has that look. So I can replace this one and that one with something that looks a little close to that if I find. If I don't find, then I would keep this two and just replace this two with something that has no screw in the middle. This is an old school, old style. I can replace grill, fix the base cords, and I can put new belts, new straps, because they are new, but they are so hard rubber that unless you like it, and I don't like it, but some people might like it, and then we keep those. So I'm going to close it back. I would use a little nicer screws here, and for the same, so you could use the same screwdriver to open it, because right now these are for the Phillips type screwdriver, and these two guys are for the flat type screwdriver. So that's inconvenient. You need two different tools to open it. Anyway, that was a review of this Bayan. The white Bayan is, let's go here. It's pretty much the same. It also has name inside, and by the way, the white Bayan misses a few reed plates for the high voices, so I had someone made for me that reed plate. I'll show you what it should look on this Bayan. So the high voices, they should look like this, single plate with several reeds. That was made for the white Bayan. It has to be adjusted, filed, because it doesn't fit, it's too big, and it will be set at an angle because the spacing is a little bit too much, but it will work. Okay, so I think that's probably all I wanted to say about this instrument. I'm gonna show another close view of the surface condition. So it has scratches, it's not perfectly shiny, so like it is okay here maybe, but here is not as shiny, so you can see all the defects and reflections. So it's not bad. It's not, definitely not new, but it doesn't look too bad. Okay. This grill is made out of plywood, and so the feet, I'll put a black feet. I can show you an example what it could be. I can buy rubber. I like rubber feet because they are soft, but the plastic ones would be, could be something like this. This is, so it's black. It could be rubber. I think that's it. Cleaning, mostly the work for the left side, and that's it. So if you are interested in this instrument, the other one, the white one, or the other bayans, the old bayan that I showed, or some other bayans that I have, let me know. Just email me or put a comment under this video. Again, this was Sergey Semyonov from Accordion Utopia. Thank you very much. Have a good day.